Hey everyone, it's Chicken Nugget Enthusiast. The Sims has just launched their Reaper's Rewards event over the next 6 weeks in preparation for the Life and Death Pack. We haven't gotten any significant leaks yet, so I wanted to take some time to run through what my wish list and dreams are for this pack. A lot of these things probably won't be in the pack, but these are what I would hope for. I used the help of AI to generate some images. I am not an artist, you guys. I apologize for some of the images being a little bit wonky, just because that is how AI is, but here are my ideas. So first, what the world would look like. I was thinking that we would have 2 islands that would be connected by a golden bridge. One of these would be the Earth side, and one would be the Afterlife. The Earth side would be relatively normal, kind of just like your average neighborhood, and then the other side, the Afterlife, would be very colorful. It would be very Day of the Dead themed, and inspired by kind of the aesthetics of Coco. At the ground level, the Earth side would have things like these dark churches, or it could be light, but I just chose an image of a dark church with a cemetery. It would have things like funeral homes and many different lot types that are geared toward celebrating the end of a person's life. So kind of that crossing over. And then on the Afterlife side, again, we would have these very colorful Day of the Dead, Coco-inspired buildings. So we'd have these nice gathering spaces, these large colorful squares. We'd have these mosaics and some sugar skull theming. Really just anything colorful and vibrant. Perhaps some little outdoor seating, cafes along the streets. I'm not sure what to do in terms of housing. Perhaps some kind of Pueblo-style homes, but we'll see what they present to us. And then again, on the Earth side here, this is what some of the gameplay might look like. For the funerals, we could have things like these burial ceremonies, or it could be a church service, or it could be in a funeral home. It could be all kinds of things, any way that people express their gratitude toward someone that they loved and celebrate the end of their life. Related to this, I would love to see a mortuary career. So these are some morticians next to their tools. The one on the left has some makeup as well for presenting the bodies after they die for funeral viewings. And then on the right, she has some more of the tools needed to take care of the body before it is presented, some of the grosser aspects, of course, but a very important part of the career. And then the space that they work in could look a lot like this. So this could fit very well in that church venue that I had a picture of. It's not quite like present day mortuary spaces, but it is a little bit Victorian, kind of like that church, and I kind of like that vibe. I think we should definitely have both, some that look a little bit more like a very clean white lab type of space, but also these very elegant and kind of witchy spaces. Both, I think, have a good place in this pack. So I like things here like the beakers, and we could have maybe little potions of poison, or we could have some embalming fluid, whatever it is, and that could be a new decor item. I like this book that they have on the one table, and that could be like an anatomy book or something like that. It could have pictures on that open page. And then this is not a piece of decor that I was expecting to get out of these images, but I actually really like some of the plants that they've included. I think it's just kind of a nice touch. It does kind of throw it back to the more Victorian type of mortuary services, but I just think it's kind of cute, and I wouldn't mind having that in the game. Now this next piece I think is more of an SDX drop to happen before the pack is released. It is adjacent to the pack in that it's kind of spooky, it kind of alludes to the afterlife, it's a holiday very much like Day of the Dead, so more Halloween costumes, and this could include some of the Day of the Dead costumes, but also some more just generic Halloween costumes. Why I say this could be an SDX drop is I think these are things that we definitely need more variety of. We already have a few, but especially when you're fulfilling the event goals, it's like maybe 5 costumes, and how many times can you be a maid or a pizza delivery person, really? It's just not that fun. So I think some more Halloween themed, not just generic themes, would be great. And I also think that it would be some nice free content and something to get us excited before they finally release the pack. Then some of the in-game items. This is just kind of one piece of that, so it would be related to a new event. So in addition to having a new event type for things like funerals and burial services, I think we should also have a Day of the Dead themed event. And what they could do is they could put up these shrines. There could be activities like decorate the shrine. You could put in your deceased family's photos. There could be a lighting of the candles, things like that. But I think these are beautiful items that could really help with the gameplay and some theming, have a new cultural aspect, and I really like them. And then we would have these gatherings once they have put up these decorations. So this actually leads me to a next part, and this is really kind of a big ask, and I don't think it will happen, but I'd like a new occult type with this. And you know what? Just pretend that her arm is completely normal. Arms definitely look like that. Anyway, I think that skeleton people, specifically the kind that are in Coco, these more sugar skull decorated skeletons, would be a very nice addition, and those could be the people from the afterlife. It won't necessarily be your Sims after they've died, kind of like ghosts, but they could act in that manner, or we could have that mechanic added. That seems like way too big of an ask, but just some things to think about. And I was thinking they'd be kind of this see-through skeleton with the eyeballs like we see on the right. They could be decorated a bit more like the ones on the left, but they'd be a bit like Bonehilda. And then we see some of this body paint, face paint, these flower hats and crowns, and I think those would be good additions for really both the living and the dead, and they could dress alike for the occasion. And then finally, when they meet up, they could have these wonderful parties when they cross over the Golden Bridge on the Day of the Dead. So we could have some new dessert, we can have some new party decorations. I like this picture on the right where they're in what is probably the upstairs of the church, the main area. The skeleton people are in the pews next to the front, and they are waiting for their living family to come join them at the party, or on the left here where they're having their big celebration. So those are some of my ideas. These are things that I've been dreaming about for a while, I really want to see Day of the Dead themes come to the game. But let me know what you're expecting out of the pack. Let me know what things you think could be realistic, what things you don't think will happen, and anything you want to let me know in the comments.